Welcome back, guys, to another My Hero Academia Girl Power Day 0 build. For this build, we have Ryukyu II. I don't know about you guys, but I was very excited when this character got previewed. I know some people are kind of poo-pooing her a little bit, but I love wall characters. Anyone who's seen my When deck list from Retro knows I like to just wall up, sit back, and wait for my opportune moment. So when I saw Ryukyu II, I thought, this is the perfect character for me. I love it. So let's get into her. Let's get into it. Strike what I just said previous. She is a 5 hand size, 36 health character. She has the Pro Hero keyword, and her symbols are Air, Earth, and Order. And I chose the Earth symbol today because I want to make the most unkillable Dragon Lady we can. So let's get into her abilities. Her response is, before you take damage from an unblocked attack, reduce that damage by 1, to a minimum of 1. Now, there's a lot of people saying that that doesn't really matter when you have people like Younger Toguro and such who can boost damage to 1 billion. Maybe we have some ways around that. We'll have to see. And then she has an enhance. Your attack that has 1 or fewer abilities gets +2 speed and +2 damage. 4 stats for having only 1 ability or less. Really, really solid. Speaking of attacks, let's get into those. We have her Biting Dragon Grab, which is a 4 difficulty, 3 mid for 5 throw. So all of these attacks only have 1 ability. So all of them, treat them as having 2 more speed and damage. So instead of a 3 mid 5, this is a 5 mid 7 throw. That's a 12 stats on a 4 diff. That's pretty good. And it's a throw, which means it'll always do at least half damage, even if fully blocked, unless your rival has some anti-throw stuff. We have her Flying Dragon Tackle, which has the longest enhance in the history of My Hero Academia enhances. I'm pretty sure I'm exaggerating, but it feels like it. It's a 4 high 5, or in her, a 6 high 7. It says, if this attack is blocked, your rival flips a foundation. If it's not blocked, you get to selectively commit a rival foundation, and if it deals damage, draw 1 card. So if they fully block it, they have to flip a foundation. If they partial block it, you get to draw a card, and if it's not blocked, or if it's partial blocked, they flip a foundation, and you draw a card. If it's not blocked, you selectively commit one of their foundations and draw a card. This is one of the craziest uncommon attacks that does so many things. Your rival really wants to block this one, so all they have to do is flip a foundation. But when you're giving 2 speed to it, it's a 6 high 7, they're going to have to commit some resources for that, so make them hurt. We've got Close Quarters Subdual. This is a 2 low for 4, or in her, a 4 low for 6, and it has an enhance that says your rival commits a foundation for each charge attack in your card pool. And all of my attacks have charge, except for Horn Cannon, I believe. Yeah, Horn Cannon and Biting Dragon Grab don't have charge, but this can stun 2 or 3 or 4. Guarantee push all of that damage through. Really solid. We have Harpoon Vault. This is a 3 difficulty attack. It's a 3 mid for 2, or in her, it's a 5 mid for 4, which isn't bad. And as a first enhance, so the first enhance you choose to do after playing this card before you do anything else, if you have more face-down foundations than your rival, you get to unflip a foundation. And we'll see which foundations we want to unflip here in a little bit. We have Neck Chop, a 1 mid 5, or a 3 mid 7 in her, that also gets 1 speed for every face-down foundation in your stage. This is an incredible thing to stack damage on to push that damage through. It's really solid. We have Creati Stunner, another 3 difficulty attack. It's a 3 mid 3, or in Ryukyu, it's a 5 mid 5 on a 3 diff. Nuts! And it has stun 1, so your rival has to commit a foundation, which is great. And lastly, we have Horn Cannon, which is a 3 mid 5, or a 5 mid 7 in her that has Echo. So this 3 mid 5 is actually 2 5 mid 7s for the cost of 1 momentum. That's huge. That's really good. And just being able to put those extra stats makes a lot of these semi-decent to mediocre attacks actually kind of threatening. Especially when we can add more to them, as we'll see here in a little bit. Like with our asset, Takoyaki. This is a 6 control, 1 difficulty asset. It has Enhance, Destroy. This attack gets +2 damage, so boosting damage that we want to put through, or -2 damage, so reducing our rival's damage even further, and we get to draw a card. We are a 5-hand size character. We want to draw cards. Then we have, in our actions, Referee Jury. So this is an action, 2 difficulty, 4 control. As an enhance, we can change this attack's damage to 4. And if it deals damage, we get to draw a card. So this works if our rival has reduced our damage way low. Or we can reduce our rival's damage to 4. And then if it deals damage, draw a card. And then when we take damage from an unblocked attack, we reduce that 4 to a 3. If our rival's younger Toguro, and they boosted it to 15, we just took 3 damage and drew a card. Cool. And then as a response in the card pool, we can flip it and commit a foundation. After our rival plays an enhance, they commit a foundation. So again, giving our rival less foundations to continue their turn, and less options they have on our turn. Really solid action here. And of course, you can't play Chaos, Earth, or Life without having a Dark Tournament, at least one Dark Tournament looms. Forgive the glitches, it's a little late. But as an enhance, you can add a card from your momentum to your hand and draw a card. So we are a 5-hander, we want to see as many cards as possible. And picking up a Flying Dragon Grab is just nice. Being able to pick up a 7 damage throw out of our momentum and draw a card, really solid. Moving on to our foundations, we have Refreshing Blend. This allows us to, as enhances, spend a momentum to gain 2 health, which is really nice. That's kind of like damage reduction. Or we can spend a momentum to ready a foundation that has not been readied this combat phase. So if we have any solid commit costs, this is a really good way to reuse those. We have Steadfast Resolve. We can destroy a foundation after an attack has been played to give it +1 or -1 damage. So pushing more of our damage through, or reducing our rival's damage even more so that we take as little damage as possible. Dragon's Fortitude. This is her rare, and this attack saved me a little bit in our pre-release locally. It is a Deflect 2, so after the block step of your rival's attack, you can add this to your card pool from your hand, and that attack gets -2 damage, and then another -1 from Ryukyu. And in your stage, it has an enhance that is Tenacious, or playable while committed. Spend a momentum. This attack gets -3 damage. So if you have 1 in your stage and 1 in your hand, that's -5 damage, -6 damage if you are Ryukyu and using that response. -6 damage. And we have 36 health to chew through. That's really, really good. I really like that. Speaking of health to chew through, we have Heat Tolerance. We can flip this card. If this is our rival's 3rd or greater attack this turn, it gets -4 damage. Then -3 damage. Or -2 from the Deflect. Or -1 from our character. It's just such a really good card to prevent string decks from killing us. Speaking of preventing people from killing us, we have Faith Shield. As a response, we can remove this card from our card pool after we block with it. The attack deals no damage, and we get to flip that attack. So younger Toguro doesn't get to build that card. We get to stop echo cards from being able to echo. We stop throws from dealing damage. So again, it's not the damage reduction, but... Sorry, a thunderstorm's brewing, so if you hear some rumbling, the world's not ending, as far as I know. But Faith Shield, great block, really powerful card to have. Next we have Beneath the Armor. Once per turn as an enhance, we can flip a foundation. This attack gets +2 or -2 damage. So if we know our Neck Chop is going to go through, or we have our Biting Dragon Grab, we can give it 2 damage. And on defense, we can give -2 damage to an attack once per turn for each of these armors, which is really good. So is Weapons Clash, which allows us to destroy face-down foundations for -2 damage to a minimum of 1. Which is really good, and we can flip it to build in the top card of our deck face down committed if need be. I also love this, Toughest Punk in Junior High. As a flip response, before we take damage from from any attack, we get to reduce the damage we take by 3. So, while Deflect can reduce the damage before it deals damage, So it doesn't reduce the damage you take, it reduces the damage before the damage step. This can reduce the damage we actually take, and it doesn't say to a minimum of 1. So as long as we get within that 3 damage threshold, we can completely wall out an attack. And this is great to try to unflip or pick up or build in. It's just really, really good. So this is good to unflip with like Harpoon Vault. I really like that. Then I have Fateful Meeting. This is a good response. After we take damage from an unblocked attack, our rival loses 3 health. It's not allowed to reduce our rival below 1, but if we're reducing their damage so much that we can take that hit and then just burn them for 3 right back, it's like we attacked them on their turn. It's really solid. We have Warm and Bubbly. If we've taken damage this turn, we can flip Warm and Bubbly to give this attack -2 damage. So that's even more damage reduction. We have the new number 1. This card can't be sealed. Since we are a pro hero, we can once per turn mill 2 to unseal a card in our stage. So if they've sealed a very good defensive piece, we can unseal it. And we can commit new number 1. This attack returns to its printed speed and gets +1 or -1 speed, making something much harder to block or much easier to block, depending on what the situation calls for. A great defensive piece, we have Ultra Regeneration. As a response, both of these effects are tenacious, so they're playable while committed. As a response, we can flip it. After we take 5 or more damage from an attack, we get to draw 2 cards and gain 2 health. So it's as if we only took 3 damage, minimum. Or as an enhance, we can remove this card. If we have no ready foundations, we get to add a card from our discard pile to our hand, which is really, really cool. We can pick up an attack for our next turn. That's honestly the only reason I would use that enhance. I'm mainly here for the draw 2, gain 2, but that's just me. Then we have number 10 Pro Hero. It's just a good spam, 0 difficulty, 6 control, +1 high block. Vast Strength, it's a really great defensive piece. You remove it, after an attack is played, it loses all of its non-keyword abilities, so that can really shut down a lot of really cool pieces, especially new cards like Lightning Rod or Net Launcher. Just to be able to say, you don't have any non-keyword abilities, you don't get to do your fancy things. We have Defending Pageant Queen, which can reduce the speed of an attack by 1 by removing this card, which makes it incredibly blockable, especially if we have a Faith Shield. Sorry guys, I think it's raining and I'm seeing things in my window, so if you see me scream, well, if you see me scream, I probably won't be uploading this. Then we have Quick to Act. Since we are probably blocking with our face a lot, this is going to be getting us below half health really quickly, so Quick to Act is more free speed. And then we have Heroic Endurance, which can commit for -2 damage, and tenaciously remove itself for -2 damage, so -4 damage in 1 foundation, plus Ryukyu's -5. Basically, this deck is just here to live and grind you down as she gets her attacks, and giving free 4 stats to every attack. But yeah, that is my first take on Ryukyu. What do you guys think? Are you a fan of the Dragon Lady number 2, or are you still a Dragon Lady number 1 player? I see a lot of people saying just put Dragon's Fortitude in Ryukyu 1 and go with that. I can see that on Earth, but I don't know, I really like this character. I don't remember if I pulled one in my pre-release kits. I don't think I did, but if I did, I'm definitely going to be looking into her. If I can get more referee juries anyway. Yeah, if you like this deck, please like the video, and leave a comment down below on which Ryukyu you prefer and why. Or if you think that Ryukyu II has a better symbol than Earth. Obviously she has Air and Order. If you figured out something for those two, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.